To celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Los Angeles County Law Library's main building and its naming in honor of Justice Mildred Lillie, let's look back at the life of this extraordinary woman, a woman whose legacy of commitment and dedication to our justice system will live on through the building that will bear her name. Justice Lillie was born Mildred Cluckhone in Ida Grove, Iowa on January 25, 1915. She was the first baby born of cesarean section in the state of Iowa. Neither mother nor child was expected to survive. Although Lillie was determined to be an artist, she eventually concluded that she would not be able to make a living as an oil painter. Instead, she decided to go to law school. At the time, her family and friends thought the notion of a woman lawyer was ridiculous. After enrolling as an undergraduate at the University of California at Berkeley in 1931, Lillie soon learned that her professors felt the same way.
One professor always insisted during the 3 years she was there of addressing her as Mr., never acknowledging, that he had a female in the class.
Persevering, Lillie was one of 3 women to graduate Berkeley's Bolt Law School out of a class of 137. She received her law degree in 1938 and passed the bar that same year. Lillie struggled to find work as a lawyer. She sought a position from then Alameda County District Attorney Earl Warren, only to have him say that he would never hire a woman.
The district attorney says, no, I'm not going to hire any women in this office. I did it one time, and the woman that I hired ended up getting one of our deputies in trouble with his wife, and he says, I'm just not going to chance it anymore.
Lillie eventually got a job doing research for the city attorney in Alameda. Finding more opportunity in Los Angeles, Lillie became an assistant U.S. attorney in 1942, where she honed her trial skills on murder, selective service, and personal injury cases. On March 18, 1947, barely 9 years after passing the bar, Mildred Lillie was appointed as a judge of the Los Angeles Municipal Court. After only 2 years on the municipal court bench, then Governor Earl Warren, who had earlier denied Lillie a position in the Alameda County District Attorney's office because she was a woman, apparently had seen the error of his ways and elevated Lillie to the Superior Court in Los Angeles. By 1958, Lillie's reputation for fairness and competency was well known. She became one of the first women to hold the position of Justice of the Court of Appeal, appointed to the 2nd District by Governor Goodwin Knight. She invited 12 friends, her husband and her mother, to witness the oath of office. 1,000 people showed up, including Clark Gable and his wife. 2 years after her appointment to the Court of Appeal, Justice Lillie was appointed as pro tem justice on the California Supreme Court, becoming only the 2nd woman to occupy that temporary position on the state's highest court.
I thought it was very interesting to find out in John Dean's book about Rehnquist that Nixon had considered and actually would have preferred to appoint her to the Supreme Court, and from my own point of view, I think that would have been just great, but that they thought it was just too early, to appoint a woman to the bench, and I think that was a terrible loss, and John Dean actually said later on he still thinks it would have been a terrific appointment.
It was bad for her. I think bad for the Supreme Court. It was good for the California judiciary that she remained here, and certainly a wonderful experience for me that she remained and became my presiding justice.
On July 27, 1984, Lillie accepted an offer from Governor George Deukmejian to become the presiding justice of Division 7 of the 2nd District Court of Appeal. 4 years later, Lillie was elevated to administrative presiding justice of the 2nd District. At the time of her death in 2002, at age 87, Justice Lillie was the longest-serving judicial officer in California's history, dedicated to dispensing justice for more than 55 years.
Justice Lillie was essentially way ahead of her time. She was among the very first women appointed to the trial bench. She was the first woman appointed to the Court of Appeal here in Los Angeles, and I think only the second one in the state. For a couple of decades, she was the only female justice in the state.
She was quite an extraordinary jurist, and she combined that kind of really cutting intellect with sort of human charm and wit, even from the bench.
She was, at the same time, a very imposing, a very confident, a very fair-minded person. At the same time, she was a funny lady.
I would look forward to picking her up in the morning. Every morning I'd pick her up, bring her into work, and listen to a lot of stories of how she got to the position she was at, some of the struggles, some of the barriers that she was up against. And that just gave me a strength to do whatever I wanted to do, to know that I can achieve whatever I want.
She was a stern taskmaster. She held people to very high standards. And she had a right to do it because of the standard she held for herself.
She had an artistic flair to her. She was a very accomplished amateur painter. She was a great cook. She did a lot of other creative things, and she admired creative things.
She was tough, and she had to be tough in the way she came up in the world, but she was a very good-hearted person.
I think about her often, and I do believe in immortality because I see her a lot, and I hear her a lot.
Justice Lillie was as close to greatness as anybody I've ever met.
She was a very, very kind-hearted person, very generous.
I miss her terribly. I do miss her terribly. Her light eyes, her smile.
I still enjoy her jokes and her humor and the wonderful human being she was.
For almost as long as Justice Lillie served on the bench, the library has been operating from its First and Broadway location. It opened its doors in 1953 and has proudly and competently served the Los Angeles community since then.
Justice Mildred Lillie had a very, very fond appreciation for a library and its books. Those books were very, very important to her in learning her skills and in accomplishing her opinions.
Libraries are the lifeblood of appellate judges. I mean, that's what we do. We research and write opinions, and many of those opinions end up on the library shelves. I can't think of a more appropriate name to go on this law library.
She has been a role model for so many women looking to the law and looking to the judiciary. And it is an honor for her, her family, but most of all, it's an honor for us that on the 50th anniversary of our law library, it will be named after Justice Mildred Lillie.
I didn't really have any money for an office when I first started, and the law library downtown was my law library. I mean, I went there every day. I did my research. I used it and used it and used it. It's an extraordinary library, great facility, but also just an extraordinary resource for lawyers like me who really weren't in a firm and still needed to do good work.
From time to time, it would be very important for me to use that library, to look up some kind of a law review article that we might not necessarily have in our law firm library, to look up some other state's laws that we might have to find out about.
There are almost always other materials that may bear on a particular case that are not readily accessible, even now when so much is online. An excellent central repository that's free, that's available to the public, staffed by knowledgeable research experts who can aid the person who's trying to find something, who's doing the research, is a cornerstone to equal justice.
I noticed that a lot of people using the law library were not attorneys. They were just looking for, you know, what the law is, and I give them a lot of credit. It's hard to find what the law is. But the people at the library were also very patient, very helpful.
A person representing himself or herself may not have any access to online legal services and may be able to use the library only during off hours because of a daytime job. Keeping the library's doors open for those people, and with recent funding cuts, that's been a particular problem, has to be a primary concern of the Los Angeles legal community.
Unfortunately, this year we projected a deficit of in excess of $900,000, and in order to close that gap, the Board of Trustees took some rather painful steps, including, among other things, the reducing of the hours of operation of the main library and the branches, reduction of the book collections in the branches.
We are hoping that the income and generosity of private donors will help fill the gap of our budget so that we can again reopen our doors in the evenings, that we can reopen our doors at the branches, and we can eliminate the cuts that we've had to make to our collection.
It's just a great institution. It just makes my job a whole lot easier.
If I'm between hearings or between meetings and looking for a quiet place where I can do some work, the law library really is an oasis.
The staff is very well informed, but also outreaches to the public.
This is an institution worth preserving and enhancing as much as any.
The Mildred L. Lillie Building offers vital legal information to its patrons, including lawyers, judges, and the public, especially those who would otherwise be foreclosed from the justice system. Mildred Lillie's legacy and her commitment to the rule of law will live on through the library's service to our community.